Why do Indians sleep badly?
On an average human, you spend 26 years of your life sleeping on a mattress.
So let's talk a little bit about sleep science.
Japan is the most sleep deprived country in the world, followed by India. In a 7 to 9 hours of sleep, you will actually have 4 to 6 cycles. Each cycle consists of something we call non-REM sleep and REM sleep. Your body needs to repair itself. That's what happens during the deep sleep part of the non-REM sleep.
Yes.
REM sleep, rapid eye movement. That's helping you form memory.
It's also called subconscious. This
Yes.
is where your
Yeah,
subconscious
this is
the
where you
most
dream.
active. Yeah, where you dream. Any kind of tips or advice that you would give to be more immersive in your sleep or in these cycles?
Body likes consistency. Don't shock your body that one day I'll sleep at 10 p.m. and one day I'm gonna sleep at 1 a.m.
You're the queen of mattresses. How does one go about choosing the right mattress? There's always a dichotomy, right, between soft and rigid.
And I think that's the biggest myth. Both are bad. People are still sleeping on something that was made in 1960s and it was made by NASA, not for the purpose of sleeping. Globally, economists have called sleep tech as one of the top 10 trends in the world. Everything you want to track using your Fitbit, but your mattress could do it. Mattress industry, it's a $2 billion industry in India.
How is it that you scale a brand like this?
Till today, we've raised approximately 400 crores of funding.
That's amazing. So what is the optimal way to have sleep hygiene?
Snoring is actually a symptom of, something we call sleep apnea. And sleep apnea is a serious sleep disorder.
Oh. On an average, we spend 1/3 of our lives sleeping. And yet, sleep is something that most of us just don't pay attention to. While interviewing Priyanka Salo, the founder of the sleep company, we realized that the mattresses we sleep on haven't evolved since the 1960s. Priyanka shared interesting insights about how much sleep do we really need and how hard and soft mattresses are both bad for you. From busting sleep myths to talking to us about how the smart grid technology can transform your sleep cycle, she shared some fascinating insights. Watch this episode to understand everything you need to know about sleep science that's going to help you sleep better. Hi Priyanka, welcome to Humans of Bombay. And I'm so excited to be sitting with another woman in business, and we happen to be twinning also. So very excited to chat with you.
Now, thanks, Karishma. Super happy to be here.
And I'm glad that we're going to chat a lot about business and other periphery topics that are extremely interesting. So thank you for doing this and welcome to the show.
Absolutely a pleasure.
Okay, so you have such a great trajectory. We've been doing some research and you went to IIM Calcutta, then you were with P&G. Now you're a successful entrepreneur. You won, countless awards. It's been fascinating, right? Tell me, what has been the defining moment of your journey?
So, I think it's been a fabulous, fabulous journey. I think we started the sleep company 4.5 years back. And as I tell everyone, it's just the start. We've got a long, long way to go. But I think what's helped in this journey, as I always say, I think mainly 3 points. One, I think it's very important to have clarity of what you want to do. And for me, from I think as long as I remember, I was very clear I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And second, I think, which I tell everybody is, being an entrepreneur is never easy. You've got highs, you've got lows, but what becomes then very, very important is the belief that what you're trying to build is the right thing and not get really distracted, because there are a lot of people who would tell you the other way around, right? And I think third, which is very, very important, Harshil, who's my partner in real life as well as at the sleep company, I think this journey couldn't have been the same without us being in it.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let's rewind a little bit. Let's talk about IIM Calcutta. Very coveted. So many of our viewers would actually be so interesting to know that part of your life. And maybe you could share a few tips on how one can even get in.
No, I don't think I have the tips. I think that place teaches you 2 or 3 big things, right? One, I think being from a college like IIM-CAL gives you a step up in life and makes, I would say, makes the trajectory of your life a little different. Two, I think the pedigree of people you meet is amazing. You are surrounded with people who are far more intelligent, who are so ambitious, right? And
The
you're
best in the country, effectively.
absolutely
Yeah.
the best in the country, right? When you're surrounded with such people and the ideas that come out of such environment is, I think, pushes you to be the best you can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that being in a stimulating room is extremely important, even in a business, right? If it's such a old saying that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So
No, absolutely, absolutely.
yeah. So let's talk about the Sleep Company. You have 100 stores across India and 1,000 employees.
Yes.
And scalability, like in terms of not just the revenue aspect or the business aspect, but I really believe that you're solving for a problem like we were discussing, which is very understated
Yeah.
and not spoken about, but is so important to everybody's well-being, which is sleep. So how did you decide to get into this extreme niche, right? Because it is a niche, and then really go deep and scale.
Yeah, I think very interesting. I love that you asked me that. I think it was triggered by two things. One is after IIM-CAL, I went and joined PNG. I
yes.
worked there for almost a decade, and I think that's where I found my love for consumer brands. I tell everybody I love consumers and I love brands because I feel that's one way to tangibly make a difference and change lives for real.
Yeah.
Right, and so I think at PNG I was always clear that I wanted to start something of my own, and it has to be a consumer brand. And I'll talk why something of my own, and because I do want to share an instance. So I, as a person, I love reading autobiographies or biographies.
Same.
And as long as I remember, I've been reading that. And I'll talk one thing that so there's a book, Shoe Dog, right, about Phil Knight. And I remember reading that book, and there was one instance when Phil Knight had just graduated, and he was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And a lot of people today say that, right? I don't know what I want to do. But he said that I was only clear that I didn't want to be no one.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted to create an impact, and I wanted to be remembered for something. And I think that just got stuck with me, that what is it that I am going to create? What is the impact or legacy I can leave behind? And I think that inspired me a lot with reading a lot of other stuff to take the plunge, right? But why the Sleep Company? And I think that's a story when Harshil and I got pregnant, right? And I delivered my son, Ayan. As any new mom would tell you, the one thing you suddenly become deprived of is sleep.
Yeah.
You just don't get enough and you crave to get sleep. And I think that's the first time I started thinking about sleep. I was having a lot of back pain problems. I couldn't sleep. And I think some just friend told me in a passing comment, why don't you change your mattress and try? So I, that time, a lot of startups were coming online. There were a lot of legacy brands we all know of. And I started trying few products. But, Karishma, nothing worked for me. And being a marketer, I think you end up doing two things. Whenever you see an ad, you dissect the ad.
Yeah.
Whenever you see a product, you dissect the product. So I think it just stuck me that time that the quality of products you get in India and mattresses you get in India is far inferior to anywhere in the world. And I think that's when Harshil and I became obsessed that can we create a product that can really be better than everybody around and then can really make people sleep better.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, sleep has been such an ignored category, something where we spend 1/3 of our life. It's literally, on an average human, you spend 26 years of your life sleeping on a mattress. And that was still the old world technology that hadn't changed for decades. And I think that's where we decided we need to change that. We met Dr. Tripathi, who is a polymer scientist from India Defense Labs. We worked with him for almost 2 years, and before the Sleep Company was born.
So let's talk a little bit about sleep science. There is a study in 2019 that states that Indians India as a country has the second highest number of poor sleep quality in the world.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do Indians sleep badly?
It's not just India. Do you know which is the most sleep deprived country in the world? It's Japan.
Yeah.
Japan is the most sleep deprived country in the world, followed by India, right? Actually, the world is becoming insomniac.
Yes.
And the problem is, I think it's the changing lifestyles. It's, the new generation. We all have so much of stress. We have so much of exposure to information which was not there, let's say, our parents' time or their parents' time, right? So I think it's the changing lifestyle which is making it something which is so important, yet you're so deprived of.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's what is happening, and that's why. But I'm glad today, as we were talking when before just started, people have started to realize it. The things are changing. People have started to talk about sleep, or why is sleep important. And I think that's what is very, very important to understand. Why is it important to get proper sleep?
Yeah.
But it's the new lifestyles, and it has to change. People have to focus on sleep. People have to understand the importance of sleep, and hence invest in things that can really help them with better quality of sleep.
Yeah. And there's so much debate around this topic, right? Like,
Yeah.
there is a number that is often thrown into the air, which is you need 8 hours of sleep,
Yeah.
for example. But it's heavily debated.
Yeah.
As a topic, this is heavily debated.
Yes.
So tell me from your research, because of course you've gone into
Yes.
the depths of sleep to
Yes.
build that product,
Yes.
which is great. Where does that notion come from, and what is the optimal number? Is it true?
Yeah. Okay, so first, before we understand, is it important to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, or is it the exact 8 number? Let's understand how does sleep actually work, right? When we sleep overnight, it's actually into multiple cycles. It's not just one cycle of sleep. And these cycles, so in a 7 to 9 hours of sleep, you will actually have 4 to 6 cycles.
Wow.
And each cycle consists of something we call non-REM sleep and REM sleep. And let's understand both of them, because they both are very, very critical, and why they're important for our body, right? Non-REM sleep is always the first part of the cycle. And non-REM sleep has mainly 3 stages, and very clear from the names, right? The stages of non-REM are, you've got light sleep, you've got intermediary sleep, and then you've got deep sleep. I think very clear light sleep is when you're just between, you're awake, but you're just trying to sleep, right? Intermediary is when your body slows down, your brain starts slowing down, your breathing slows down, your heart rate slows down. That's intermediary sleep. And then you come to the deep sleep part. That's the time when your brain's slowed down, your body's slowed down. And why that deep sleep is very, very important. That's the time, see, we all work throughout the day, right? Everybody does different things. Your body needs to repair itself. Your body needs to recover itself. Your muscles need to build, right? Your immunity system needs to build. And I think that's what happens during the deep sleep part of the non-REM sleep.
Yes.
And that's why it's very important that you're recovering well, that so that you're fresh the next day, right? That your immune system is building, and that's related to a lot of health, so that you avoid health problems in future. So that's the non-REM part of the sleep. And each cycle, as I said, has a non-REM part and a REM sleep. And now is the REM sleep. REM sleep, the full form is rapid eye movement. REM sleep is the part where, your heart rate increases, your eye movement increases, your breathing is little more than the non-REM part. And why is that part of the sleep important? So that part of the sleep is related to your brain and your memory. So in that part, in the REM sleep, the brain functions all the things or processes the things that you've done during the day. All the things that you've learned. So that part of the sleep is very important to learn new ideas and to form long-term memory.
It's also called subconscious. This
Yes.
is where your
Yeah,
subconscious
this is
is the
where you
most
dream.
active. Yeah, where you dream.
Where you dream, absolutely. And that part of the sleep, Karishma, is very important, because that's helping you form memory.
Yes.
That's helping you learn new ideas. And if you don't get that REM part of the sleep, you will not learn new things, right? Your cognitive function will not work properly. You will not be, able to, you would not be alert. You would not be able to make the right decisions, right? So I think, and so that's one cycle, non-REM and REM. And this is the cycles that you go through the night of sleep. And it's important that...
So 6 cycles, sorry to interrupt, just so that, we have it all clear
Yes.
for people who are watching. 6 cycles, each having a REM and a non-REM.
Yes.
Continually through the night.
And you see, each cycle would be approximately a 90-minute cycle.
Oh.
Right? And that's why people can have 4 to 6 cycles, right? That's what is very, very important. And that's why I think people say that it's important that you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I don't think anybody can prove that it's exactly 7.5, 8.5. Every body is also different, right? But it's very important to make sure your body is repaired and you can get your brain functioning proper, your memory built, your ideas are processed. That's the reason that both non-REM and REM sleep is equally important.
Okay, I understood that.
Yeah.
That gives a lot of clarity because, usually people, what they don't understand is that you see these numbers and you don't actually understand the context behind it, right? So this is a very refreshing explanation. So now let's go into you personally, since you've done all of this research. Any kind of tips or advice that you would give off the bat for lifestyle changes or certain things that you do to be more immersive in your sleep or in these cycles?
Yeah. We all take our body for granted.
Yeah.
It's very, very important that we should respect our body. And as in one big thing to learn there is body likes consistency. Our body, the way maybe a lot of us don't like surprises, even our body doesn't like surprises. And that's why I think it's very important to make sure you get quality of sleep. You need to have a proper sleep hygiene, right? What does that mean? That means make sure that you have consistent timings of sleeping and waking up. Don't shock your body that one day I'll sleep at 10 p.m. and one day I'm going to sleep at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
That is very bad for the body, right? And obviously, which I think we've heard from everybody say, and I know it's lot of time difficult, but it does help if you sleep a little early, wake up a little early, right? And trust me, though I tell everybody that my work is 24/7, I do sleep early, and I do think it helps a lot to focus, to concentrate, right? I think that's first thing that I always tell people. Second, I think very important and is very difficult to do because screens have become part of our life, right? We all are there on the phone 24/7. But I'll tell you, there is a science why people say that don't use screen before you go to sleep. Because the light that comes from a mobile screen or any screen, right, it suppresses the production of melatonin. Right? And we all know, everybody's heard that melatonin is important and it helps you fall asleep.
Yeah.
Right? And if you watch screen, it suppresses that production, which is the reason that people say that don't watch screen or at least 15 minutes before the bed.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think that can be so difficult, right? So I think those are the very simple things we can take care of to make sure that we have better quality of sleep and
Yeah. So, I was telling you offline that we interviewed this neuroscientist who's Sid. He's called Sid Warrior.
Yeah.
And he gave a very interesting anecdote about blue screens, which I think will add context to people. Is he said that imagine that you're in a car and you're going at 100 kilometers.
Yeah.
Will you expect to brake in 1 second? No, right? It's going to be a gradual slowdown. He's like, when you're using a screen and that blue screen, you're expecting after you put that phone away, if you think you're going to fall asleep, it's like expecting a car moving at 100 kilometers to immediately slow down.
Yeah.
So once you put that away, there's a time taken by your brain, by your sensory
to slow down. Absolutely, because whatever content we consume on the screen, we're consuming so much of content that increases our alertness, that makes your hormones go up and down.
And you have an immediate dopamine shot, right?
Exactly.
That you're scrolling and you have one more thing on your feed.
You need to calm down. You need to relax. And I think that's so important.
100%.
Yeah.
And let's talk about mattresses because you're the queen of mattresses. Let's just say that. So how does one go about choosing the right mattress, and how is it that the mattress assists in sleep?
Yeah, let's look at the evolution of mattress industry. We all used to talk decades back cotton mattresses. Some people still talk about it, right? So mattress was made up of cotton, and then the cotton evolved to something called coir. Coir is something that comes from coconut trees. It's the scrap of coconut trees. It is something, you know, still some mattresses have it. It's the bottom layer of the mattress. It looks like a very thick coir mattress, a brown color layer that is there. And then coir evolved to foam, which is, there are different types of forms. Forms is the sponge material you see in your sofas as well.
Yeah.
And you have multiple forms. You have PU form, you have memory form. And I'm sure a lot of people today talk about memory form.
Yeah.
But guess what? When was memory form invented? It was invented in 1960s.
Really?
Before we were born.
Yeah.
Before even color television came, right? Before anything in our life became smart.
Yeah.
Right? I think, you know, I always tell our phones have become smart, our TVs have become smart, even the lights in our house have become smart.
Watches have become smart.
Everything has become smart. But the one thing where we spend 1/3 of our life, people are still sleeping on something that was made in 1960s and not for the purpose of sleeping. It was made by NASA, not for the purpose of sleeping, right? So that was the irony. And so what we did, as I was telling you, we invented and we made a completely new material, which we call Smart Grid. It's a mattress which is made up of polymer, completely 100% food grade polymer. You can literally eat that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's made from polymer. Two, it's the only mattress which is organized in the grid form. And we've got patent granted for that in India, outside, in Japan, in Korea, and multiple international countries. Right? And so now let me explain you how this grid structure works and why is this right for our body. Or so if you see your body, right, is it a straight line? No. You've got curvatures, you've got head popping out, you've got shoulders popping out, you've got hips popping out, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you have a curvature, just press your hand against this table.
Yeah.
It's going to put a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Right? So that's exactly what happens on a mattress. If you have a mattress which is, let's say, a firm mattress which you would sleep on, it's going to put a lot of pressure on curvatures of your body, right? And now let's imagine you sleep on a mattress which is a soft mattress, and your body will sink in it, and it's not great for back. We all know that, you know, a mattress which
doesn't provide that support.
Support is not great for the body, right? So you actually need a mattress that aligns to the natural shape of your body.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That means it provides support to the spinal area.
Yeah.
And your spinal area is a bigger, little bit more rectangular, straight area.
Yeah.
And it should provide a lot of comfort and pressure relief to curvatures. And I think that's what the only material that does is the Smart Grid. Because what the Smart Grid does on your body curvatures, it'll always buckle down and it'll be soft and gives you a lot of pressure relief and comfort. Whereas on the spine part, it is firm. So it's a mattress which is both soft and firm.
At the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, don't think you need a firm or a soft mattress. You need a mattress that can align to the natural position of your body.
And each different body, because everybody's body is different.
Exactly. So let's say if you're a side sleeper, right? You need something that takes curvatures on my sides, on my hips.
Yeah.
And that adaptability of the material is very, very important. And that's why I think, you know, which is today, you know, with the fastest growing brand in this country, you know, consumers have told us that my back pain reduced drastically, my cervical has gone away, my spondylitis reduced, right? And it's because the grid technology makes it possible to adapt to your body type and your sleeping position. Doesn't matter your weight, right? Because it's the grid structure. Depending on the surface area, the way it behaves is the pressure per surface area.
Yeah.
Right? On smaller body parts like your hips, your head, your shoulders, it'll be soft. On bigger body parts like your back, it'll be firm.
Understood. Okay,
Yeah.
that's very interesting, because there's always a dichotomy, right, between soft and rigid.
And I think that's the biggest myth.
Yeah.
Trust me, both are bad because firm puts a lot of pressure on curvatures, the way I was showing you on this table, right? And that's the reason people toss and turn. If it's very, very soft and doesn't provide support to the spine, over time it will lead to back pain problems.
Understood. So talk to me about the technology, right? Like you mentioned that it's been disrupted after 1960, which
Yeah.
is when it was developed. And now obviously with the smart grid and
Yes.
things like that, it has moved. What are the other exciting things that are happening that you're excited to kind of work on to further deepen this
Yeah.
movement that you've begun?
Yeah, I think today we today play in two main categories, right? One is we make people sleep better with our obviously smart grid products. Second, we make people sit better. We've got world's first office chair, smart grid office chair.
Wow.
Right? Because then we got our consumers were telling us that when you can make my sleeping better, why don't you make my chair better as well, right? I
Because you
spend half of my day in office, right? So I think that's what we did. But I think third big category that we are working on, and it's not just is sleep tech. And let me talk a little bit more about it. So if you see sleep tech, globally economists have called sleep tech as one of the top 10 trends in the world. You have global companies like Tempur-Pedic, like Sealy Certa investing millions of dollars, as I was saying, because world is becoming sleep deprived, right? And brands are obviously trying to see how do you help people sleep better. And I'll talk about few cases. Lot of people you would see wearing Fitbands.
Yeah. Even there are now rings that you wear.
Rings, right?
Yeah.
Why do they wear that? Because they want to track, which is fine. You want to track, what's your heart rate. You want to track different parameters. You want to track how much did you sleep. But we did a lot of consumer work, and we realized though consumers want to know, they don't like wearing the Fitband at night. It's very uncomfortable.
Of course.
So how do you track what happened at night? Now, since you're sleeping, imagine if your mattress could do that for you.
Because you're anyway sleeping.
Right? So I think we've got a lot of R&D work going on where your mattress could track everything you want to track using your Fitband, but your mattress could do it for
That's
you.
amazing.
Right? So second, I'll just give you an example. One of the reasons people toss and turn at night is because, they feel cold on the feet. Do you feel that? Do you sometimes feel cold on the feet? And
I wear socks. So
you
yeah,
also,
I guess, yeah.
You wear socks. And a
Yeah.
lot of people do that because
Yeah.
feet is the area where you feel cold.
Yeah.
Now think you're sleeping on a mattress and you're tossing and turning and you're moving your feet and your mattress senses that. And it automatically becomes warm under your feet.
Wow.
Right? So the mattress changes the temperature.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Right? So I think there are a lot of things that today at the sleep company we're working on, and very soon, literally, before the festive season comes in, we would be launching a lot of these products, which will be not just first of its kind in India, but first of its kind in the world.
Wow. And that's such a proud feeling given that it's coming from India, right? Because I think that we have to embrace tech. The only way to kind of move forward is if we're not just like people who are absorbing tech from outside, but actually creating it to build better products, which is what you're doing. So let's talk about the business, the numbers, right? We've discussed a few early on, but if you want to take me through what the business is looking like right now, because of course you've scaled and achieved so much, and people want to know, how is it that you scale a brand like this?
Yeah. No, I think, so we started, Karishma, we started R&D, much before we launched. We did R&D for almost 2 years. If you want to build a long-term brand, you actually have to make a product that can solve a real consumer problem.
Yeah.
Right? So, and that's the reason that we invested 2 years in R&D to crack the product that after a lot of testing, we realized and we found out was far better than anybody else and was actually improving the quality of sleep for people, right? So we launched actually that product, our first smart grid mattress in October 2019.
Yeah.
We were a digital first brand.
Wow.
So we started our website, and I still remember we started our first website at just like 35,000 rupees. We launched the website at 35, and that's what is possible today, right? If you have an idea and if you want to test the product, I think it's so easy for people to experiment, to test, given the digital ecosystem and the power of digital ecosystem.
Yeah.
So we were a digital first brand. We launched on Amazon, we launched on Flipkart, we launched our own website in October 19. For the first 1.5 year, we were bootstrapped. For us, I think it was very important that is there a product market fit?
Yeah.
We designed the product for the consumers, but are they finding it different? Is it really helping them sleep better?
So here I'll ask you a question. How
Yes.
do you actually quantify that they have slept better? For example, is it
Yes.
just customer, reviews where they say that, like you mentioned earlier, like my back problem is
Yeah,
solved, which is
yeah.
just priceless, right?
Yes.
Or is there any other quantifiable metric?
Yeah, so there are both. So one quantifiable metric that we always do for our products. So there are a lot of tests you do, right? So one test that we do is a pressure mapping test. What does this test do? Let me tell you. Let's say you take people, you make them sleep on the Sleep Company Smart Grid mattress, and you make them sleep on a typical memory foam mattress.
Yeah.
And you see where all is the mattress exhibiting pressure on the body. So there are pressure mapping devices you get, and we work this with third party vendors, and we see that after, let's say, 2 hours of sleep, when you're in your deep sleep part, we see a Smart Grid mattress exhibits almost zero pressure on your body compared to a foam or a memory foam mattress. So that's how we quantify it. Now are other ways, right? You can talk to every single consumer of yours. And today also we have the culture of everybody at the Sleep Company meeting consumers, talking to consumers, and figuring out what changed.
That's amazing.
Right? And I think even in the first 3 months, Karishma, we literally had hundreds of iterations because consumers were giving us feedback that this can be made better, this can be made better. And I think it was only after 3-4 months of iterations that we got a product that we were feeling confident about, and we realized consumers were loving.
Yeah.
So I think that's how the first 1 year kind of ventured in. After 1.5 years, when we saw that the product was doing phenomenally well, consumers were liking the product, we decided that we will raise money because we wanted to go very aggressive on building awareness.
Yeah. So how much did you raise?
So that was our first round. We raised around 13.4 CR.
Okay.
We raised it from Fireside Ventures. They're literally the best. We love them. They're literally the best fund, VC fund, when it comes to consumer brands. Right. So we got Fireside on board. That was June 21. And after that, we saw the business literally exponentially grow as you start investing in driving awareness. And after a year, I remember we were getting a lot of consumers tell us that, guys, we see great reviews. We see the product looks phenomenal in the pictures, but this is something I'm going to buy for next 10 years. I need to see it.
I need to touch and feel
I
it.
need to touch and feel it, right? And I think, and then we said, okay, it's time we venture, we go offline. And if you see this industry, which is, let's say, mattress industry, it's a $2 billion industry in India. But most of the brands, any brand that you can think of, would be selling through distributors and retailers. And when you go and we met a lot of, Harshil and I went to a lot of distributors, retailers, and we told them, guys, we have this Smart Grid technology. It's a patented tech. It's really, really good product. And we want to, sell it to consumers in the offline space. The only thing they would ask us is, how much margin would you give us? And what is the credit period? They don't care about the
actual product.
They don't care about consumer experience, right? So I think that, so when we said we need to go offline and everybody was telling us the only way is retailers, we said that doesn't work for us because we care about product, we care about consumer experience. So we said, okay, we won't go through retailers. We decided to go against what everybody was telling us. We said we'll open our own experience centers. And I still remember on 10th June 2022, we opened our first experience center in Bangalore.
Wow.
Which was just 2 years back.
And from 2022 to 24, June, pretty much 2 years, 100 stores.
1 to 100.
Wow.
Right, because that's what we realize is the power of, something we call Omni, where we are still a digital first brand. Consumers find us online and they come and see the products in the store. They love the products and they buy the stores.
Yeah.
We want to build a legacy brand that will stay there for decades and decades and which can make people sleep and sit better.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And what is your last round that you've raised and what is your current valuation?
Yeah, so I think we raised our last round in just October of 23, and we raised it from our existing investors, which is Premji and Fireside Ventures. It was around 184 crores.
Wow.
Right, till today we've raised approximately 400 crores of funding.
That's amazing. Let's move on to the next section. So we're going to bust some myths.
Okay.
About sleep. Because like I mentioned, there's so much information out there, and because you're an extremely researched individual on this niche topic, I think we should have you bust some of them. Right?
Okay, let me try my best.
Okay, fine. The first myth is you can catch up on sleep over the weekend.
Why do you sleep? So that your body recovers and your muscles form and your brain processes information. Now, if you're going to have your body recover, the whole thing that you did over the 7 days over a weekend, or you have your brain process all the information that you learned over the week on just one day, it's not going to work, right? So I don't think that's correct.
Okay. Snoring is harmless.
Snoring is actually a symptom of something we call sleep apnea, and sleep apnea is a serious sleep disorder. Right? If an extreme level of snoring, and if not treated, sometimes sleep apnea can lead to chronic problems.
Watching TV before going to sleep helps you relax.
Completely wrong. We talked about it. It kills melatonin you produce, right? The light kills melatonin the body produces, suppresses it. So it's not good. We should really avoid it.
Okay. Sleeping pills are harmless.
So I think, it's very sad that people take sleeping pills, and it's becoming common today. It is not good for the body. And the reason it is not good for the body is it's a habit forming thing. And it does help you with a temporary getting better sleep, but it spoils the routine and the sleep hygiene you need to build to get better quality of sleep over the time.
Yeah, it's a long game.
Yes.
Okay. Older adults need less sleep.
Myth. Completely wrong. So I don't think the amount of sleep you need changes with age. If you don't have a proper sleep routine, which a lot of us tend to ignore, your body gets used to sleeping less number of hours.
Right.
Which I think is not good, right? But you need the same number of hours of sleep.
Okay. It doesn't matter what time of the day you sleep.
No, so I think your body, as I said, your body likes consistency. Your body is used to a certain rhythm of daytime and nighttime. Dark helps produce melatonin, and that's what induces sleep. So I think that rhythm is very important for the body, not just for the sleep. That rhythm is very, very important for your body, and hence you need to make sure that the night is for sleeping and day is for working.
Okay. Being able to fall asleep anytime, anywhere is a good thing.
Able to sleep faster, quicker is absolutely a good thing, right? That means, you're able to calm yourself down faster. So obviously able to sleep quicker is good, but excessive of anything is bad.
Yeah,
if you're sleeping throughout the day, throughout the night, anywhere, anytime, that just means maybe you didn't recover your body properly at that 7 to 9 hours of sleep window. And that's the reason you're doing that through the day.
Okay. A firm mattress is best for sleeping.
I think we talked a lot about it. Yes, you need firm support for your back, but a firm mattress doesn't help because it creates a lot of pressure points on your body curvatures and leads to tossing and turning. And hence you need a mattress that adapts to your spinal cord, that adapts to your natural position of your body and your sleeping posture, not just a firm mattress. You need a smart mattress.
Okay, awesome. Okay, in contextually throughout this conversation, you've kept saying sleep hygiene, right?
Yes.
So this is a question that I'm going to summarize a little bit about because you have spoken about it in fragments, but there's a lot happening in the sleep science space, especially with tech and AI, right? Like there are tracking devices and people are becoming more aware of the fact that sleep science and sleep hygiene is actually a thing. So what is the optimal way to have sleep hygiene? Yes, all of the things that we spoke, but how can we integrate, say we get data that we're not sleeping to the best of our capabilities. How can we integrate that to better our sleep hygiene?
So I think first is to accept and understand, are you sleeping good or not?
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, there are quantifiable ways to do that, which is, let's say, your tracking device telling you how many hours of sleep did you get. Your tracking devices also tell you REM sleep and non-REM sleep, right? How many times did you toss and turn, or what was the deep sleep time, right? So that is quantifiable way, right? But everybody doesn't wear tracking devices till the time we get your mattress to do it, right? But the second way is, I think, very common thing, when you wake up, how fresh are you? Right? During your day, how fresh are you? Do you feel you slept well, right?
Yeah.
If you think you did not, I think it's important to accept that we are not sleeping well, right? And once you know that you're not sleeping well, it's important to build a hygiene or a routine for sleep. I think not to be repetitive, but one has to decide for themselves, but it is important to have very simple things done to get to a routine. Fix a time when you're going to sleep, and preferably it has to be a little early, not late.
What is early?
I sleep by 10:30 every single day. Between 10 to 10:30 is when I sleep every single day. But I'm up also very early. I'm up like between 4:30 to 5.
Wow.
Right? And I think it really works for me. And I see the difference. The day I sleep late, I am not fresh. Right? Two, I think and that's what I'm saying, I think consistency, forming a habit, a fixed time is very, very, very important.
Yeah.
Right? And that's top of your sleep routine. And second is, and I don't think it's difficult, I used to find it difficult, I don't think it's difficult if you can keep your phone on the side and not watch screen and just relax. You can do whatever you like doing. Some people like listening to music, like soft music. Some people
read.
Some people read. Some people kind of meditate at night, right? Whatever works for you, just calm yourself down, right? Don't expose your brain to information that's not needed at 10 or 11 p.m. at night, right? So I think those are the very, very simple thing, Karishma, we all need to do, because trust me, sleep deprivation is far more serious than we all think of it to be. See, most of the simple things we always say, okay, if you didn't sleep well, you won't be alert next day. You can't focus on things. You're not efficient the next day. But I think what we don't relate, if you abuse your body, if you don't let your body repair over the years, over the days, over the months, right? Sleep deprivation, as per multiple research done, has been correlated to even chronic problems, right? Serious problems of diabetes, problems of obesity, your cardiovascular problems. So I think it's important that we stop abusing our body. We focus, all of us, and I think that's what I would say. And maybe we've seen the change in our consumers' behavior, and I think it was triggered by COVID, right? Where people now want to invest in products, they want to invest in things that they feel are good for their health and their family's health. And I think that change is important, and I think that change is happening. It just, for us, more and more people should talk about sleep, importance of sleep, and hence importance of a mattress, to be honest, right? And how should we all continue to invest in sleep.
Yeah. It brings me to my last question. Learned a lot about sleep, learned a lot about business, but specifically, what advice, because you've been through the rung, right, of scaling a brand, you were first bootstrapped, then you raised money, 400 crores, and are, touchwood, doing such a phenomenal job of even breaking the mold and creating a product that is truly a legacy brand at the end of time. It will remain. What advice would you give to young entrepreneurs who want to build these products and want a made in India product to be at that global stage? What are some of the tips that you would give them when they're looking to, say, raise investment, scale, or even bootstrap?
Yeah, I think two things maybe which I personally believe in a lot. One, specifically, if you are building a product, a consumer product, keep consumer at the center. Design everything thinking about your consumer. You should be paranoid about your consumer, right? What do they want, or what does he or she want? So I think consumer centricity for product design, for anything you design, is very, very, very important, right? And second thing, which I think I believe in a lot, is perseverance, right? If you want something, you just need to keep working towards that one vision, with all the focus, with the conviction, and don't get distracted with the noise around.
Yeah.
And I think things will happen if you keep working towards it.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been so lovely. And I think that you're a huge inspiration, right? Because so many people struggle with even just beginning, and they think that the only way to do it is to raise a lot of money and then build. But you've proven the opposite, that you've done it step by step, you've done it slowly, and truly built a great product that adds value to people's lives. So thank you so much. I know that this episode is going to add a lot of value to people's lives and hopefully help people sleep better.
Thank you, Karishma. No, thank you so much. I absolutely had so much fun chatting about sleep, chatting about the sleep company, and I hope people see this and find value. And at least, even if few people can change their sleep routine, I will be very happy.
I'm sure it'll happen. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for being the best community, and we'll see you in the next one.